Hello and welcome to First Timer Yoga. My name is Vicki. I'll be the teacher. And just a few words about why I decided to offer this class. Um, First is that going to a beginner yoga class usually has a lot of people who are not beginners and they know what they're doing, and it can be a little intimidating. So I wanted to create a safe place for people to come and be true beginners. Secondly, I want to help you prevent injury because it's really easy to get hurt in some of the poses in yoga. And then lastly, I just really love yoga. And so I wanted to share it with others and help them get started on their path. So let's get started. So first, when you come into a yoga class, what they will often say is find a comfortable seat or get into a comfortable seated position. And what does that mean exactly? Because sitting on the floor is not very comfortable for most people. So there are a couple of different options. Let me show both of them to you, and then you can try them out along the way, and then we will find our comfortable seat. So one way that you can sit is using what we call a yoga block. If you have a book, a nice fat book like a dictionary or something, that could possibly be used. But if you go to a yoga studio, they will have these. One way that you can use this is actually if you come up to your knees, like so, you can put the block between your ankles and then just sit back on it. Now the lowest level might be too low. You can turn it on its side and make it a little taller, and you'll notice that I can sit up nice and tall when I have that there. Now, another way that you can sit, which is kind of the way that I prefer, honestly, is if we go back to elementary school, maybe kindergarten, we used to be able to easily sit on the floor, right? And crisscross our legs, maybe our shin is resting on our ankle. And this is what you want. But for many of us, me included, when I sit down on the floor, my back tends to round like this. And that's not what we want. We want our back to be up and with the natural curvatures of the spine. And so one way to accomplish this is to sit on something. So one thing to do is just take a blanket and fold it multiple times and put it on the floor, like so. And then just sit on the very edge of it. You'll notice I'm not sitting right in the middle of it because I'm still going to have that curvature in the spine. But if you sit right on the edge of it, you'll notice that your pelvis can tilt forward and you'll be a little more comfortable. And it also allows, when your pelvis is more forward, your knees will fall a little flatter to the floor. Now, for many of us, one blanket is not going to be enough. So use as many as you need, or use a couch cushion, or extra pillows. And the higher it is, honestly, the easier it gets to be to bring your knees down to the floor. So find your comfortable seat. And we'll do a few stretches using our comfortable seat. Okay, so we found our comfortable seat. And first, just let's start with the breath. Breathing is hands down the most important tool that you will learn in yoga to help you be more calm and reduce your stress level. So let's start with it right away now that you're in a comfortable seat. So let's start with a nice big inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Now let's bring our arms up to the sky. Inhaling and exhale, hands to heart center. Again. Inhale and exhale. Do that again on your own breath. So over the course of this class, I'm sure you will think that I am telling you way too many times when to breathe. But what you'll notice is that oftentimes when I tell you to breathe, you'll notice that you're not breathing, you're holding your breath. Bring your right hand down to the floor, left arm up to the sky, and reach over to the right side. We're going to get a nice stretch in our side body. Breathing. And coming back up to center. And left hand down, right arm up, and reach to the left side. Breathing. And on your next inhale, coming back up to center. And bring your arm down. Exhale. Now bring your hands to your knees. Let's actually switch which foot is in front. It's good to try to even things out. This can feel pretty awkward, I have to say. I can't get into as comfortable a position this way as I can the other way, but that's why it's good, right? Okay, so let's bring our hands to our knees. And this time we're going to inhale while we bring our heart forward and our chin to the sky. So inhaling forward. And then exhale back. So straightening your arms, rounding your spine, getting a nice stretch in the back and the shoulders. And inhale. And exhale. So we do pause between our inhales and our exhales. Inhale. Pause. And exhale. And some of us just inhale and exhale longer than others. And that's okay. That's part of the reason why we often say, now to your own breath, take this pose. Okay, and coming back up to center. All right, let's take one last big inhale. And a little bit more like, and exhale. Okay, we've been introduced to our comfortable seat. So let's go ahead and come to standing position. So bring your feet hip width distance apart and just kind of rock back and forth, getting yourself comfortable with standing here. Maybe shake out your legs since you might not be used to sitting the way that we were for a while there. And then bring them hip width distance apart. And this is called mountain pose. And we are going to build our mountain starting from the toes and coming all the way to the crown of our head. So lift your toes from the floor. And you'll notice that your arches lift up when you do that, but the ball of your foot should still be on the floor, but your arches will lift, your toes are lifting. And now spread your toes wide and put them back down on the mat. But keep your arches a little lifted as if you're trying to actually grip the floor with your feet like you're a suction cup. Now, let your ankles wobble a little bit in and out until you can find that kind of all four corners of your foot, under the ball of the big toe, the ball of the little toe, the inside of the heel and the outside of the heel. You want all four corners of that to feel like they are rooted into the ground, like you have roots growing from the soles of your feet, literally down into the soul of the earth. You feel strong, feel grounded here. Okay. And now let's look at our knees. So if you bend your knees, they should come right over your feet, coming straight forward. If you tend to keep your feet out a little, you'll notice your knees will be going out. Or if they're in, they'll be running into each other. So let's get your feet nice and parallel, getting that suction cup back, and your knees should come forward like so. So now let's just soften our knees so they're not really bent and they're not locked and straight, they're just soft. And then we'll get to our pelvis, which should be neutral. So we don't want to be curved in, and we don't want to be sticking our behind out too far and really arching our back. Just a nice neutral spine. And then let's bring our heart forward, bring our shoulders up, back, and down. Hands are forward. And then bring, again, standing up really nice and tall so that it's like you're a puppet on a string. In fact, maybe that string is just a little bit to the back of the top of your head so that your chin is just the slightest bit tucked. And here you have it. This is your mountain pose. Now, unclench your jaw. Take a nice big inhale and relax into this pose. Walk around in a small circle and see if you can keep the integrity of your posture that we just went through. And coming back, starting with the feet, suction cup, nice soft knees, pelvis is neutral, heart shins forward, shoulders up and back, and relaxed, hands forward, chin tucked, head nice and tall. Mountain pose. So mountain pose is the fundamental basis of every standing pose we'll do in yoga, whether we're doing a balance and we have our leg up here, or if we're putting our legs out to the side. It's always that same feeling that you're looking for in the feet, natural curves in the spine, being nice and tall. That's always going to be true. And it should be true in life as well, right? So next time when you're in the grocery store, try taking mountain pose while you're waiting in that long line. Okay, so taking our mountain pose. Now let's take a nice big inhale, raising our arms up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, hands up to the sky. And exhale, back to heart center. Now let's add a forward fold to this. So if you don't have to turn, I'm just turning for the camera. So we're bringing our arms back up to the sky. We can swan dive down towards the floor.
Now, it does not matter in the very least whether you can actually touch your toes. What's important is to be really lengthening your spine. And so we'll be stretching our hamstrings. And so to do that, it's nice to take opposite elbows, clasping those, and just letting your head hang heavy. Maybe nod your head yes, shake your head no, and just let it hang like a big melon. And then maybe sway from side to side, shifting your weight from one foot to the other. And then on the next inhale, put your hands on your shins and push up just so that your back is flat. We're coming halfway up, like a tabletop.
And what you'd want is to feel really nice and long. You're not cranking your neck back. You're trying to lengthen your spine from the crown of your head all the way to the tail bone of your spine. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and fold back down. Let's do that one more time. So coming forward, halfway lift, inhaling and exhaling back down to a forward fold. And on our next inhale, let's come up one vertebra at a time, all the way to standing, like you're a rag doll. Coming through our mountain pose, all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. So when we put that all together, we often move with the breath, and we call it half sun salutation. So let's try that. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward, all the way down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward. And inhale all the way up to standing, one vertebra at a time. And exhale to your heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale. It's often good if you have shoulder pillows to keep your thumbs up as you bring your arms up. It's a little less hard on your shoulders. So inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, one vertebra at a time, coming all the way up to standing. Hands to the sky, and exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. So let's come back down to sitting, and then we're actually going to come all the way down onto our back. So you're lying down flat. Your feet should be wider than your hips. Your arms are out at a 45-degree angle at least, so give a lot of room for your armpits to breathe. And your head can either be on the floor, or if that's not comfortable, put your head on a blanket or a pillow. And so try to wiggle your body into a comfortable position. And when you think you're comfortable, see if there's anything else you can do to get 2% more comfortable. Now take a nice, big inhale, biggest inhale you've taken today. And open your mouth and let that out. One more time, inhaling. And exhale. This pose is called Shavasana. In English, that's corpse pose, which is probably why people like to call it Shavasana. It sounds much nicer. And in this pose, we find stillness for a couple minutes at the end of our practice to allow our bodies and our minds to integrate all that we've done. So in about 2 minutes, I'll be awakening you from your Shavasana. Bring your awareness back to the room. Take a nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Now stretch your arms overhead, a full body stretch with a big yawn. Now bring your knees into your chest and squeeze them tight, giving them a nice big hug. And then let the soles of your feet come onto the floor. And raise your right arm above your head and slowly roll over to your right side, using that right arm as a pillow. Knees in a fetal position. And when you're ready, use your left hand to push yourself up to your comfortable seated position. Let's bring our arms up to the sky. Inhale. And hands to heart. Exhale. Bring your hands to your forehead as a reminder of a beginner mindset, being open to new things. To your lips as a reminder of big, beautiful breath. And to your heart as a reminder of your kind intention, an intention to try out a yoga journey. Now, typically at the end of a yoga class, the teacher will say to you, namaste, and bow to you. And namaste simply means I bow to you. It means I honor the highest and brightest in you. So, and then the students will say namaste back to the teacher. So let's do that. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you'll come back and see me next week.